My sister called me the night her husband hit her. I drove 3 hours to pick her up. She stayed with me for 4 months. Then one morning, I woke up to an empty apartment. Furniture gone, TV missing, bank account wiped. She left a note on the counter. Thanks for the head start. Don't try to find me. I called her work, her friends. No one knew where she went. But I knew one person she still trusted. I made a call pretending to be her, and what I found out blew everything open. My name's Dave. I'm 42 years old, divorced, live in a quiet apartment complex in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've always been the quiet type. I go to work, pay my bills, keep to myself. Not a lot of friends, but that's by choice. Trust is something I don't give out easily. My sister, Megan, is or was my only family left. Our parents died years ago, and it was just the two of us after that. We weren't close growing up. She was always chasing something: boys, drama, attention. I was the opposite. But after Mom passed, we started talking more. Over the years, I helped her out here and there. Covered a few bills. Let her crash on my couch once when she broke up with a guy. That sort of thing. Then last October, I got a call from her around 2 a.m. I remember the exact time because I was asleep and the ringtone scared the hell out of me. Megan was crying, breathing hard, like she was running. Dave. He hit me. I'm outside. I can't stay here. Please. Her voice was shaky, and something in me snapped. I didn't ask a lot of questions. She was in a small town outside Dayton, Ohio. I told her to send me her location, got in my truck, and drove straight through the night. 3 hours, no stops. I pulled up to a gas station off the freeway and found her sitting on the curb, hoodie pulled over her face, shivering. She had a bruise under one eye. Her lip was split. I didn't ask questions. I just helped her into the truck and drove us back to Fort Wayne. The next morning, I let her sleep. I called in sick to work. She didn't say much the first few days. Said her husband, Travis, got angry over nothing. Said he shoved her into the fridge and then punched her. She showed me texts he sent after, apologizing, blaming the alcohol, the stress at work, all that usual garbage. I told her she could stay as long as she needed. And she did. Megan stayed with me for 4 months. It wasn't perfect. She smoked, which I hated. She left dishes in the sink. She spent hours on her phone. But I kept reminding myself she needed help. She was family. I paid her share of food. She wasn't working, said she was taking time to figure things out. She borrowed my debit card now and then to get groceries or order food. Every time I tried to ask about what her next steps were, she'd change the subject. Said she didn't feel safe. Said she was scared he'd find her. I even thought about getting her a lawyer or a therapist, but she'd say, "Not yet. I'm not ready." Then one morning in February, I woke up and everything was gone. And I mean everything. Couch, TV, even the goddamn toaster. I walked out of my room in my boxers, half asleep, and stopped dead. Living room? Empty. Kitchen? Cleaned out. I walked to the front door thinking maybe we were robbed. No sign of forced entry. I called her name. No answer. Checked her room. Empty. Her stuff? Gone. On the kitchen counter was a note. Just one line. Thanks for the head start. Don't try to find me. That was it. My heart was pounding. I ran to check my phone. No texts. No calls. I logged into my bank account. Wiped. All of it. I stood there for a solid minute, just staring at the screen. Savings. Checking. Everything linked to my debit card gone. I called the police, filed a report. They said since she had access, it was a civil matter. The bank wouldn't help either. You authorized the charges. I was screwed. I tried calling her phone. Disconnected. I went to her old job in Dayton. She'd quit. No forwarding address. I called every friend I could remember her talking about. No one had heard from her, or so they said. But there was one person I hadn't called. Her old friend, Sarah. Megan used to call her Ride or Die. I remembered she still lived near Cincinnati. They'd gone on some girls' trip together a year back. I found her number in an old text thread and made the call. When she picked up, I used Megan's voice. I'd heard my sister fake her tone 100 times. Light, sweet, like she was trying to sell you something. "Hey girl, it's me," I said, kind of half whispering. "New number. Needed a quick favor." There was a pause, and then Sarah said, "Oh my God. Where have you been? Are you okay?" "I saw the news about Travis." I froze. "What news?"
She gasped.
"Wait, who is this?"
Click.
She hung up. I called back. Straight to voicemail. Now, I knew two things. Megan was in contact with Sarah, and something happened with Travis. I hit the internet. News, police records, anything I could find. And there it was. Travis had been arrested 2 weeks ago. Not for hitting Megan. For fraud. Apparently, he'd been running some kind of insurance scam out of his home office. Fake claims, fake injuries, stolen identities. The works. The feds raided his place. Found encrypted files, burner phones, and over $200,000 in cash. He wasn't alone. They mentioned an unidentified female accomplice. They hadn't caught her. Now it made sense. Megan didn't run from an abusive husband. She ran with a scam partner. And she used me as a pit stop. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about everything. Her fake tears. The fake bruises. The way she always wanted to use my card instead of cash. The way she never wanted to call the cops or get a lawyer. I didn't just lose money. I'd been made a fool. I sat in my dark apartment with a cheap bottle of bourbon, staring at that one line she left me. "Thanks for the head start." I wanted to let it go. I really did. But then I remembered something she said when she first moved in. "Sarah always keeps a backup phone for me. Just in case." That one line stuck with me. And it gave me an idea. I bought a cheap burner phone and used one of those spoofing apps to mask the number. Then I used a voice filter and texted Sarah, pretending to be Megan. Told her I was scared, needed help. Said I lost my ID and needed a safe place to crash. She replied in 10 minutes. "Come to my place. Same spot as before. I'll leave the back door open. Travis is gone for good, right?" Bingo. She sent an address in Kentucky. I got in my truck and drove through the night again. But this time I wasn't rescuing anybody. I was going hunting. And what I found when I got there changed everything. The drive to Kentucky felt longer than it should have. I didn't stop, didn't eat. Just drove in silence, gripping the steering wheel so tight my hands ached. The road signs started to blur together, and my stomach turned every time I thought about her walking out of my place like that with my money, my furniture, like I was just some idiot mark. I got to Sarah's place just after 6 a.m. It was a small house in a quiet neighborhood near Lexington. One of those cookie-cutter developments where every house looks like the last.
Her porch light was on.
The neighborhood was dead quiet, not a soul around. I parked 3 houses down, out of view. I left the truck running for a minute while I sat there thinking. I wasn't sure what I was walking into. I didn't know if Megan would be there. I didn't know what I was even planning to do. All I knew was I had to see her face.
I had to know why.
I walked to the side of the house, stuck to the shadows. The backyard was fenced, but I found a side gate unlocked. Slipped in, slow, quiet. The back door was open a crack, just like she said it would be. Inside, it was quiet. Dim light from the kitchen. Smell of stale coffee. I stepped in and closed the door behind me. Then I heard it. Footsteps. 2 of them. A voice. Laughter. It wasn't just Sarah. I crept closer, toward the living room. There were 2 people on the couch. I couldn't see their faces, but I could hear their voices clearly. "You think he's figured it out yet?" That was Megan. Then a laugh. "Even if he did, what's he gonna do?
Report you?"
"You stole from him." I gave him 4 months of fake tears and microwave dinners. That's more than he ever gave me growing up. I felt something shift in me. For months. She planned this the whole time. It wasn't some impulse. It wasn't survival. It was a goddamn con. I stepped into the room, and both of them froze. Megan's eyes went wide. Her mouth opened like she was about to say something, but nothing came out. Sarah stood up fast. "What the hell? You left the back door open, I said. Nice touch. Megan started to speak. Dave, wait. But I wasn't there to listen. Not yet. I pulled my phone out and hit the record button. Go ahead. Explain it. All of it. She stared at me, and for a second I saw a flicker of something, maybe guilt. But it disappeared fast. You want the truth? She said, arms crossed.
Fine.
You've always been a loser. Quiet little Dave with no life, no friends, no spine. You were easy. You always were. That hit harder than I thought it would. I knew Travis was going to get pinched, she went on. We both knew it. I just needed a place to stay low until it all blew over.
You were the backup plan.
The safe house. You think I liked living in that dump with you? Sarah laughed. And now you want what? Megan said, tilting her head. You want your money back? A couch? Grow up. I didn't say anything. I just kept recording. My heart was pounding, but I stayed calm. I backed out slowly, phone in hand. I've got what I need, I said. Good luck staying hidden. They both started shouting. Megan yelled something about calling the cops on me. I didn't listen. I got in the truck and drove straight to the nearest Starbucks and used their Wi-Fi to upload the audio to a cloud folder. Then I called someone I hadn't spoken to in years. My old friend Todd. Todd used to run with a rough crowd before he got clean. Now he worked as a private investigator out of Indianapolis. He owed me a favor, one I never thought I'd cash in. I sent him everything. The audio, the address, the names. He called me back an hour later. I've got some bad news for you, he said. What? That wasn't just your money she took. Megan's on the radar. Not just the feds. There are a couple of people looking for her, and not the kind you want knocking on your door. What do you mean? She didn't just con you, or Travis. There's a guy down in Nashville, real estate guy. Got swindled for 70 grand. Another one in Michigan. Looks like she's been running this game for years. I felt my throat go dry. You think she'll run again? I asked. She always does, Todd said. But she made a mistake. That recording? That's leverage. And if you play this smart, I might be able to help you turn this around.
How?
You want revenge or you want justice? Both, I said. Todd chuckled. Good answer. He had a plan. It involved bait. Megan loved easy marks. Loved the idea of fast money. He said we'd build a trap, make her come to us. But we had to be patient. Meanwhile, I started fixing my life. I got a second job at a hardware store. Slept on an air mattress. The apartment felt like a ghost town. Every day I woke up thinking about that note she left. Every night I dreamed of the moment I'd see her face again. Weeks went by. Then Todd called me one night around 11. She bit. What? I set up a fake investor. Used one of my old aliases. Offered her a stake in a phony crypto startup out of Phoenix. She's on a bus right now. Should be here tomorrow. My stomach dropped. You sure it's her? She sent a selfie to confirm. It's her, Dave. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I waited outside the Greyhound station in my truck.
Hood up, sunglasses on.
And then I saw her. Megan. New haircut, new clothes, same smug walk. She had no idea I was watching. I let her walk right past me, then texted Todd. He was already set up with a guy from the state fraud division. The whole meeting was wired. Cameras, mics, the works. They let her sit down, let her start the pitch, let her talk numbers. Then they cuffed her, right there in the middle of the coffee shop. She didn't even look surprised. She just sighed and looked around, like she was trying to figure out who sold her out. She didn't see me across the street, watching. But that wasn't the end. That was just the start of something bigger. Because once the news broke, others started coming out. Other victims. Other stories. Turns out, my sister wasn't just a liar. She was a full-blown criminal. And her story wasn't even close to being over. Neither was mine. After Megan was arrested in that Phoenix coffee shop, I thought it was over. I thought I could finally get on with my life. She was booked under a fake name, but they figured out her real identity fast. Todd kept me updated on everything. She was being held in county, pending multiple fraud charges. Seemed like justice was finally catching up. But 3 days later, she was gone. Not out on bail.
Gone.
She faked a seizure during transport to the courthouse. The 2 deputies escorting her weren't experienced, and they panicked. At the ER, while they were distracted, she slipped out the back using a stolen nurse's badge and disappeared. They didn't even realize she was missing until 20 minutes later. The news didn't say her name. Just woman in fraud case escapes police custody. But I knew it was her. Todd confirmed it an hour later. They're embarrassed, he said. Cops don't like looking stupid. They're not saying much publicly, but they're hunting her. Where is she now?
No idea.
She'll lay low, change her look again. Might even leave the country if she can. But she won't go far, not at first. People like her always want to see who's watching. And Todd was right, because the next morning I got a letter in the mail. No return address, just my name. Inside was a single Polaroid. It showed the front of my old apartment, the one she'd emptied out. But what caught my eye was the message written on the bottom of the picture in red marker. You were never the smart one. My stomach turned. My hands started to shake. She'd been watching me, maybe even while I was outside that coffee shop. I went straight to the police with the letter. They filed a report, but didn't seem hopeful. She's already wanted across 3 states, the officer told me. We'll add this to the case file, but unless she shows up in person, there's not much we can do. I asked Todd what to do next. She's not taunting you just to scare you, he said. She's telling you she's not done. And that means she's planning something. Sure enough, 2 days later, my bank called. Someone tried to open a credit card using my social. Then another. They caught both attempts, flagged the accounts, froze my credit. But it didn't stop there. My work laptop got flagged for a security breach. IT told me someone tried to log in remotely.
My passwords were changed.
Personal files deleted. When I checked my Gmail, I saw it had been logged in from a city I hadn't been to in years, Toledo, Ohio. It was her. She was trying to erase me. Little by little, I went full lockdown.
New bank accounts.
Credit freeze. Changed every password. I stayed off social media. I even stopped going to my favorite bar just in case she showed up. I didn't know how far she'd go, but I wasn't going to be caught off guard again. But Todd had one more card to play. She's still got a burner, he said. You said she trusted Sarah, right?
Yeah.
So, if we can get into Sarah's phone, we might find her. That's where it got complicated. Sarah had vanished too. After Megan's escape, she left her place in Kentucky. Abandoned her lease. Left a bunch of trash and old clothes. Neighbors said she left in a hurry with a guy, maybe someone new. Nobody had seen her since. We were back to square one. Then, 3 weeks later, Todd sent me a link to a Reddit thread. Recognize this? It was posted under some throwaway account in a financial crimes subreddit. Someone had posted screenshots of Megan's fake crypto pitch, the same one Todd used to bait her. But this time, she'd updated it. New name, new photos, new fake team. She was active again. But here's the twist. In the comments, someone recognized her. Not from Indiana, not from Ohio. From Seattle. Apparently, she'd pitched the same scam to a startup guy there a few months back under yet another name. He'd gone on a podcast about scam recovery and told the whole story. Todd found the podcast, and there she was, her voice, her fake story, laughing like she had the world in her hands. But the host had done something smart. He'd kept their DMs. And one of the usernames she'd used to message him was still live. We set a trap. Todd created another fake profile, female this time. Said she was a founder of a new wellness app and needed help raising seed capital. Sent her a message through the same platform. Said she'd heard about Megan's consulting services. Played dumb. Hooked her with compliments and desperation. Megan replied. They messaged for 4 days. Megan offered a meeting. Said she had connections in fintech. Gave an address near Sacramento, California. Said her name was Bree now. We took that to the authorities. This time, the U.S. Marshals were involved. But when they got to the address, it wasn't Megan.
It was Sarah.
She was living under a fake name, working part-time at a wine bar. They arrested her on the spot.
She didn't resist. Didn't even ask why.
Back at the station, she spilled everything. Turns out, Megan wasn't alone anymore. She joined up with a group, 3 others, all scammers, all running different versions of the same game. 2 men, 1 other woman. Sarah knew only first names, but she gave locations, habits, everything she knew. Megan was moving up. Bigger targets. Bigger cities. But she made one mistake. She used the same fake phone number in all her new scams. And Todd had been tracking it. One night, I was sitting at home when he called me.
Dave.
Got her. Where? San Diego. Working a real estate gig under a new alias. We have her on video. No doubt. We're coordinating with the local task force. This time, I didn't wait by the phone. I got in my truck and drove. I wanted to be there when they took her in. I wanted to look her in the eye and remind her she didn't win. Not this time. But when I got there, everything went sideways. Because Megan wasn't in San Diego anymore. One of the scam group members tipped her off. When the cops raided the office, she was gone. Left her phone behind. Wiped clean. Another goddamn note on the back of the office door. Close, but not close enough. You never could keep up. I stood in that office, fists clenched, heart racing, and realized something brutal. She wasn't just running anymore. She was playing. She wanted me to chase her. Like it was all a game. But I wasn't the same guy who picked her up off the curb in Dayton. And this game? It wasn't over. Not by a long shot. I went home after San Diego and didn't leave my apartment for 3 days. I sat in the dark, staring at the walls, feeling like I'd lost. Not just the money or the furniture or my peace of mind. I lost time. Months of my life wasted chasing someone who never cared about me, not even when we were kids. But after the silence wore off, the anger came back. And it wasn't just at her. It was at myself. I let it happen. I let her in. I believed her lies. I didn't question things I should have. I gave her my keys, my card, my couch, and she took it all and laughed in my face. I stopped telling myself I was the victim. That's when I finally understood what I had to do. I stopped trying to catch her with cops. I started thinking like her. I made a new plan. She always wanted one thing, money. Quick, easy money. And no matter how smart she thought she was, she had a pattern. Fake businesses, big promises, targeting desperate people looking to get rich. Todd and I built a fake crypto app from the ground up. Fake investors, fake reviews, fake testimonials. We made it look perfect. Then we posted about it in all the forums we knew she watched. We even made it look like it had already pulled in a few quiet millionaires. Todd and I waited. 2 weeks passed.
Then the bite.
An email came in through our dummy investor portal. Someone named Elena Rivers said she had experience in fintech marketing and wanted to collaborate privately. We knew it was her. We replied carefully. Said we were looking for someone who could handle discreet promotion. Said we'd pay up front. Asked for a meeting, Zoom only. She agreed. The video call was the final confirmation. New hair, new glasses, voice slightly changed, but it was her. I sat off camera while Todd ran the call, pretending to be the founder. She started pitching herself. Same old lines. Connections in Silicon Valley. Private funding sources.
Lies.
All lies. While she talked, we traced the IP address. She was in Flagstaff, Arizona. This time, we didn't go to the police. This time, we hired someone else. Todd had a contact. Ex-military, now working private security. Not the kind you find in ads. The kind that gets things done off the books. We paid him cash. Gave him the address. Told him to scare her, not kill her. Just a lesson. Something she'd remember. He found her at a rented Airbnb. She was alone. No crew. Just her and a laptop. He got in through the back window. Waited in the kitchen. She came in, saw him, froze. He didn't say a word. Just handed her a small envelope. Inside was a photo. It was her and me from years ago, standing in front of our parents' old house.
She didn't even know I still had it.
On the back, I wrote, "I stopped being your backup plan. Now you're mine." Then he gave her a second envelope. This one had a flash drive. Inside were files, emails, fake names, records of every scam she'd run over the past 2 years. And one final document, a full confession, written using AI to match her writing style. All she had to do was sign it. He told her she had a choice. Sign it and disappear. Or wait until every victim got those files.
She signed.
That was 6 months ago. She's been off the grid since then. Word is she's living out of a trailer in New Mexico, paranoid, broke, hiding from people even worse than me. I know where she is. I don't care anymore. Let her rot. As for me, I rebuilt. Got a new apartment. Upgraded jobs. Started dating again, slowly. I kept things simple. Quiet. But I still keep that flash drive. Every now and then I plug it in and read through the files. Just to remind myself who she really is. And to remind myself of the part one played. I let her in. I gave her the chance. I won't ever do that again. In the end, revenge didn't come from a courtroom. It didn't come from cops. It came from giving her the one thing she never wanted, silence. No more attention. No more games. Just a mirror. And no one left to lie to but herself.